to open session of the Torrance Unified School District board meeting. Next on the agenda is our Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll request Trustee Hunt to lead us.
Please rise. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you, Trustee Han. We'll move on to the agenda item 6.1, which is the adoption of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Agenda is adopted. Item 7, report of closed session actions. There was nothing to report. No action was taken. And moving straight on to item 8.1, which is the introduction of Director Nutrition Services, Michael Hyde. I have something to.
Mr. Hyde, if you'd come on up to the podium there. Michael Hyde has spent the last 20 years as a food professional, serving as a nutrition services director for the past 9 years and 7 years in the restaurant industry as a kitchen manager, line cook, and catering professional. Mike holds a degree in nutrition science from Cal State LA and graduated with a culinary arts degree from Le Cordon Bleu. He has a proven track record of bringing farm to school initiatives to multiple districts, expanding sustainable food options, including more scratch cooked menu items, and raising student participation rates. His leadership style focuses on innovation, operational efficiency, and student engagement, ensuring that meals are not only nutritious, but appealing. By merging his restaurant background with his nutrition expertise, Mike continues to elevate school nutrition programs and inspire healthier eating habits in the communities he serves. I really liked writing that. I ran it past him later, but this is who he is. It came out completely during the interviews.
Well, I would like just to thank everybody for this opportunity. I've really been working for the last 20 years, or almost 20 years to get to this point. Especially like the last 9 years as working as a director for the 3rd district now. And, you know, the change that I've always brought has always been welcome, especially with the farm to school and the more scratch cooking. Generally, it's just well accepted across the board. There's very little resistance from staff. There's a lot of buy-in. I like making everybody proud of what we do. And I'm really proud to work here. This is easily like the peak of my career by far. So I'm honored to be here, and I really like to thank everybody for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Just one comment. You went from one great school to another great district. So I graduated from Granada Hills High School.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I do. Way back.
Go
Class of '89, baby. Like that was a long time ago. Class of '89.
Yeah, I know. We similar to here. A lot of the people who work there went to school there.
Oh.
But I didn't know anybody in 1989. A lot of people I knew was actually earlier than that, when like Robert England was there, Valerie Bertinelli, John Elway.
That's what I know. Yes. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
Excited. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Dr. Butler, for the introduction, and welcome aboard, Michael. Next, we'll hear from our student board member, item 8.2. Board member.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. I'd like to introduce student board member Neka Mera from North High School, and Neka is a 12th grader. She's got quite a resume, so I'm going to share a couple of things just because we're proud to have her here. She's a member of the Youth in Government, has been for about 2 years now. She is a 3-year member of the North High School very successful academic decathlon team. She's in student government at North High and serves in leadership outreach. And most notably, recently, this past summer, she participated in Girls State as a representative for North High School and was actually a part of a groundbreaking progress within the organization. She worked with the superintendent to develop a school board, state school board for.
Yeah, State Board of Education.
State Board of Education for the Boys and Girls State. So proud to have her here. Joining us to support her this evening is also Principal Paul Nataki. So Neka, take it away.
Thank you for that introduction. Thank you, members of the board, cabinet, and public. Summer break has come to a close, and with that, students are slowly getting used to their school routines. Homework, sports, volunteering, extracurriculars. School is just beginning, and there's no turning back now. Rather than going over the first few days in chronological order, This report will be laid out highlighting the qualities of portrait of a graduate. First, let's look at growth mindset and lifelong learning. Both South and Torrance have upcoming college visits in hopes of getting students the resources they need to be college and career ready. Colleges include, but are not limited to, UCR, UC Santa Barbara, USC, Yale, and more. At West, seniors had the opportunity to attend a college app essay crash course to get additional help perfecting their personal statements for the fall admission season. This year, North is collaborating with UCLA's Early Academic Outreach Program, or EOP, to aid students in becoming more competitive applicants for college. EOP representatives will first be meeting online with seniors, but will begin to show up on North's campus every week. Next, for communication and collaboration, all TUSD high schools have been putting in the work to make sure freshmen feel welcome and equipped for their first year. Specifically, at Torrance High School, there was a senior freshman buddy week, which included wearing matching t-shirts, fundraisers at BJ's and Brewster's, and pieing the seniors. The upperclassmen in North's Link crew were assigned groups of freshmen to showcase North's campus. Each group had a fun theme and costume that the Link crew leaders created, such as firefighters and Dalmatians, or garden and flowers to keep freshmen engaged and in the loop. At West, Warrior Focus ambassadors led workshops on time management and wellness, on top of offering support to freshmen throughout the year. In hopes of supporting students and giving them a wider perspective, South High School has opened its alumni panel, in which alumni can share their experiences with current students in person. In the leadership and character category, West High's entertainment unit will host the South Bay Invitational Field Tournament on September 27th, curated to support students in their passion for music as they compete for several awards. For South Spirit Week from August 25th to the 29th, Spartans grew more inspired as the week progressed to partake in dressing up and showing their school spirit, closing the week with Twinning Thursday and open-toe shoes on Friday. After hours of bumping, setting, and hitting, North's Lady Saxons took the gold at the Volleyball Tustin tournament, showcasing their grit and determination. Finally, Torrance High's theater department has opened auditions for their fall production, 12 Angry Jurors, which will feature the talents of several Tartar students. Next, let's look at healthy habits and life skills. On Torrance's Wellness Wednesday, free Otter Pops were given out to help students beat the summer heat. Peer mediators at West completed conflict resolution training to prepare for the school year and will host training for ANZA peer mediators on September 29th. At North, Saxon faculty and their friends were invited to a Saxon family taco night prior to the football game last Friday, giving teachers and staff a well-deserved reward after a long week. South's Club Rush took place over the course of 3 days, displaying to students the many opportunities they have to serve and gain new skills. Finally, for civic engagement and global citizenship, there was impressive participation in North's Back to School Spirit Week. On Tuesday's Bring Anything But a Backpack Day, students rolled up to school with coolers, board game boxes, suitcases, and so much more. South had an explosive class comp on the second day of school. After a performance from dance and cheer, tug of war, trivia, and a relay race, the seniors took the well-deserved win. Football season is in full throttle, and Torrance High School's really upping their school spirit. Their student section, dubbed the Maroon Monsoon, brings the hype every game. After every touchdown, a student is lifted onto a push-up board where they do a push-up for every point they have on the scoreboard. Last but not least, West students had a major show of sportsmanship and support for their football team in their home game against Torrance. Their massive student section was decked out in neon to proudly rep their warrior pride. The first days of school have been jam-packed with exciting events and opportunities for TUSD students, and the future holds even more promise. This marks the end of my report. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for a comprehensive report and organizing, within the portrait of a graduate. Really appreciate you doing that. And just want to see if there's any comments from my fellow colleagues.
Yes, I just want to say congratulations on your first school board report. Good job. Yes, and it was very comprehensive, and I really like that you incorporated the portrait graduate in your report. I like that. If you can do that, a little bit of that every time, that would be wonderful. And so just want to reiterate that Trustee Park and I are very proud and very happy to have had you apply and to have chosen you as our North High School representative. Thank you.
Okay, any other thoughts, comments? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to the agenda item 8.3, report from Torrance Council of PTAs.
Good evening, members of the board, cabinet, and public. I'm Rebecca Ryder, Vice President of Leadership, filling in for President Jen Rusty. And I'm excited to share a few highlights of what our PTAs are working on. I'm also a little nervous, so be patient with me.
Don't be.
Our students are showing their creativity in the Reflections Art Contest with the theme, I Belong. We're excited to see their creations this year. Next month, our schools will celebrate Red Ribbon Week with the theme, Life is a Puzzle, Solve It Drug-Free. This will encourage healthy choices. We're also preparing for Project Hope, our annual Halloween costume drive to support families in need. And looking ahead, we're excited for our Working Together Association meeting on October 1st, where units, principals, and district leaders come together to collaborate and strengthen family-school partnerships. Finally, our membership drive has begun at our schools. And as the council membership chair, I'd like to encourage everyone to purchase a PTA membership. And I'd like to thank those of you who already have. And the council has also made available a community membership that covers all of our TUSD schools. And you can find out more about that on the TCPTA website. Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Next, we have item 8.4, report from Torrance Education Foundation.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Tori Mandel. I'm here on behalf of the Torrance Education Foundation. President Pat Fury couldn't quite make it tonight, but I'm a proud TUSD alum, actually. Went to Seaside, Cali, and South. But tonight, I'm here to talk about the Skechers peer-to-peer walk. The TEF's mission is simple but powerful to enhance the educational experience for every student in TUSD. We do things like funding the elementary science lab supplies and equipment, scholarships for graduating seniors, the academic decathlon, robotics, invention convention, sports leadership programs, support for high school entrepreneurial program, and our summer school program, preschool through high school, that is both WASC and NCAA approved. We're always looking for new and innovative ways to support our students and educators. One of the most impactful ways that we raise funds for our students is through the Skechers Friendship Peer-to-Peer Walk. It's going to be their 17th year, happening on Sunday, October 19th at 9 a.m. The walk stretches from Manhattan Beach to the Hermosa Beach Pier. It's a fun-filled day with music, entertainment, swag bags, and most of all, community. For the past 6 consecutive years, TUSD has ranked #1 out of every South Bay district. To give you some perspective, our very first year we raised $5,000, and this past year we raised over $440,000. Sorry. Yeah. I know, so awesome. Clearly it's a mouthful. So how it works is each walker donates $30 either in person or virtually. So you don't necessarily have to come. Teams are created at each school with Skechers and TEF tracking all of their donations. And each dollar raised goes right back to the school, club, classroom, team, PTA that raised it, with payouts happening in November. So students will benefit this year, a really quick turnaround. And a couple more highlights. Last year, Towers raised over $36,000. Bertlin and West raised almost $14,000. And altogether, yeah, basically our check came home with over $200,000, which was awesome. That went straight back to all of our students. So as a student, I personally saw the effect of Skechers as a member of the cheer team getting new equipment. And now in my postgraduate life, working with the autistic community and other varying developmental disabilities. So it's really awesome to see the impact from all sides of the realm now. And so if you would join us in supporting TEF, our schools and our students together, we can make a lasting impact for 6 years now, 7 almost. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, agenda item 8.5,
But
superintendent's.
before we go to the next one, may I add that for the Skechers walk, you want to say something about our team?
Well, this year we're very thank you so much for bringing it up. So this year, the school board itself, the board of trustees, has created a team and includes members from cabinet too as an extension, and so we're in it. Along with our schools, shoulder to shoulder to make sure that, we also raise money and we also walk and register ourselves. So we're in it all the way and we're proud of that. And hopefully we'll be able to keep increasing the bar for our students.
I love to hear it. I expect to see your faces there then.
Absolutely.
I will be there, boots on the ground.
Yeah.
But something very exciting, I'm sorry I forgot to mention, was our incentives. We're giving back a lot of money every year. So our first incentive will be after you reach 100 walkers, each school will receive a $500 bonus on top of whatever else they're raising. So that's our first one. That's all I can say for now. But there's competitions. There's a lot of ways to get your school money.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate my colleagues for supporting our group. So thank you so much for that. Thanks for bringing it up. Next, we'll go on to 8.5, superintendent's report. Dr. Stowe.
Thank you, board members. And again, I've been upstaged by our student representative. I think the only thing I offer now is some visuals, but I have a feeling that might be going away by the next meeting. So, or being competed with. So, just to, again, build on what she shared, the first day of school, this is our first meeting since we've been back. And it was very smooth start. Our attendance is really strong. We have more TKers than we had anticipated. And so we're just, but yet not as many as we think that are out there in the community. So that's going to be one big area of push for us next spring, is making sure that more families are aware of TK in our community. And so, we're very proud of the enrollment and all the support staff, teachers, administrators did, and the work over the summer to get schools ready. And it was a fantastic start. Off and running already. Nancy Tan, here's one example of how kids are working together in her Project Lead the Way classes, which is basically robotics. Students work together in teams. And so a lot of communication, collaboration happens there. So early in the year, she has students do an egg drop competition where they build out of renewable materials or recyclable materials, things, and try to see how an egg can survive being dropped. And so they learn about aerodynamics and engineering and principles there. So nice to see the learning already happening. Our adult education program just finished their first degree, first certificate of class in the phlebotomy program. And so the adult school, as you know, they prepare adult students for all kinds of jobs. And I remember when this was first approved by the board. And so very excited for this. And even some of our more recent graduates from our high schools earn their certificates. You can they're in the purple, and so they have a 98% pass rate on this exam. So if you get your blood drawn anytime soon, I hope you get somebody from Torrance Adult School. Civic engagement, global citizenship. You were all at the at the warm day down at Seaside, or excuse me, at Walteria on Saturday for the 100th anniversary celebration. It was really a great opportunity to see they had all the old cars there, and some of them were pretty close to 100 years old. And so it was neat to see, and just the students and former students that were there. There was even one student, graduate from 1955 or 53. He came up to us and was talking to us. And so it was really neat to see the whole community come together. And there was a ribbon cutting there. Dr. Muhammad with the accurate scissor work, cutting that ribbon, and for a garden that was donated by the school PTA. And then finally, leadership and character. This has been the third or fourth year in a row where we've had schools earn PBIS awards. And PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Intervention and Support. And it is a program at our elementary and middle schools to encourage students to behave in ways that support the school culture and show leadership and character. And so we had a number of students that received both gold and silver awards there. So we're very proud of them. Some of them are repeat schools. So just it's one more way where we're encouraging students to be safe and letting them truly develop some skills that will help them in their future endeavors in life. So that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Starr. Are there any questions for my colleagues? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. We'll move on to item 8.6, TUSD Arts and Music in Schools.
Oh, it's on. I didn't see a light. I usually don't sound this great, but I have a cold, so I apologize. I may sound a little nasally today, but I am delighted to be here. Good evening, President Mohammed, members of the board, Dr. Stowe, cabinet, and community members. Thank you for being here. This is an overview and a quick summary of an annual or biannual report that we submit around the arts. So I just wanted to give you an overview of the great things that are happening here in our district. Okay. I won't read all the details, but we do get quite a bit of funding that our students benefit from. This is an overview of 24-25, but on here you will also see how much was allocated for our elementary, middle, and high school in 23-24, as well as 24-25. It's a great commitment from the state of California. So we do have some parameters around this funding. We want to grow the programs that we have. So we have to remember supplement, not supplant. And there is a focus on funding for staffing and funding for materials. These are the areas that we focus on. Beautiful, very diverse. And within those 5 areas, there are also other categories that support. For example, visual arts. We're also looking at sculpture, crafts, drawing. When we look at dance, we look at different types of dancing, theater, media arts, lots of exciting opportunities for our students to experience the arts in TUSD. It's very comprehensive. Something I'd like to highlight is that depending on the grade that our students are in, we're either focusing on exposing them to experiences, exploring a little deeper, and then getting to the point of full engagement as they get older. So at the elementary level, we're focused on exposure, and this looks different across the district, but really exposing our kids so that they can see the possibilities in the arts, whether it's visual or music or dance. They have an opportunity to be exposed to a little bit of it all. At the middle school, students have more of an opportunity to explore. And so they begin to connect maybe with different areas, those 5 different areas that I mentioned. And they start thinking about, what might I want to do at the high school level? that really speaks to me around these 5 very important areas of the arts. So they're exploring. And then at the high school level, I'm sad to hear that I missed a great production of Shrek. I'm a Shrek fan. Last year, we are looking forward to another amazing production at one of our high schools, but kids really get a chance to engage with the arts, depending on where they are and what that focus might be. So as you can see here in the green, we are growing from some to check. Visual arts at the middle school level, we are there. We have some dance at the middle school level, but it's happening all across our high schools. So this just gives you a little bit of an overview of the growth that's happened in 1 year across these different areas. And we will continue to focus on this through our curriculum committees, getting input from our students, our staff, even our families, and looking at supporting our teams at the different grade level spans. The report, and this is really the whole point of the presentation, is that we have employed 8.5 full equivalent arts teachers. We're increasing course access for our students. More than 16,000 of our TUSD students across the grade levels have experienced the arts and will continue. And this is a $2.2 million investment in not just the course expansion, but also in materials and enhancing the materials that we may have and equipment for kids. So we look forward to continue to grow. We are expecting to continue to receive this funding. So stay tuned for more great opportunities for full engagement. Thank you. Might you have any questions?
And I'll just add, thank you, Dr. Isaiah, for the great presentation. In consent item 15.1, you're being asked to approve the arts and music grant or report for the year.
Thank you so much. I just want to make one comment that you got 16,000 students. That's more than half of our student population being, exposed to the AMS funding and the types of courses and curriculum that we're providing. And that's just remarkable. So thank you to everyone that's kind of making this possible, from not only our administrators here but also at the sites for enabling that, and our teachers and our staff for supporting and making it possible. So that's pretty remarkable. More than half our students are getting exposed to this. Thank you.
So 2.3 million, right? That's what you guys spent last year, correct? On that
2.3.
much. So, what is the end goal? I'm not sure. Like how are you going to measure the ROI on the 2.3? Like, what are the metrics that you guys are aiming for? Like, that's a lot of money, right? And so it's not supplanting, it's supplementing, right? So this is on top of what we're already doing. So 2.3 on top of what we're doing, I'm thinking, what is that ROI going to look like? And like, are we going to enhance more things? I just don't understand. Like, just if you can give me some thought on that.
And I'll start. I see Ben is ready to share. The arts are such an important part of creating a full, well-rounded experience for our students. So it's not necessarily just the dance and the theater, but also the visual arts and the opportunities that come with it. So the opportunities to express yourself, to learn and read, to create, it really encourages that creativity. And for some students who are able to shine in areas that may not necessarily be areas that they're thrilled about, it just creates well-rounded students and more opportunities and better outcomes. And we see that reflected in some kids come to school because they just love that one class, that dance class that motivates them and excites them beyond the academic math and science and language arts. it gives them a different opportunity to appreciate and feel part of their school community. So it supports the whole student, the whole community, and we see it reflected in test scores. We see it reflected in attendance. We see it reflected in their ability to communicate and collaborate. So when we think about Portrait of a Graduate, they're really gaining some of those skills that are so important through the arts.
So out of that 2.3 million, then how much is it going to staff, would you say? Which can you break it down? Like how much is programs, how much of it staff out of that 2 point? I'm kind of curious out of the 2.
Yeah, the report will give you more detail,
Okay.
but on there, one of the highlights was 8.5 staff. So 8 additional, whether it's music instructors that normally we wouldn't be able to fund if it weren't for this additional grant.
And just because I do fiscal stuff, the grant says that 80% needs to be spent on people.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I remember that, right? I remember being 80%. That's why. So
And I'll just add a point of clarification that we did ask for a waiver, and the board supported us in that in the early year, the first year of this program, which was close to the reverse of the 80-20,
yes.
because we wanted to be thoughtful and make sure we were bringing people aboard in programs that we knew we had sustainability with, and there could be growth. So we wouldn't invest in an individual to become a staff person with us if we weren't prepared to support that person's success and the numbers with students. So this year, our waiver will be significantly improved in moving toward that 80-20, but we'll still ask for a waiver. I think we're now around 3664, I think is the number. And it was
So we're
like,
not at that 80-20 then right now.
no, and
Okay.
it'll be quite some time
Okay.
before we get there.
That's what I was wondering. Like I wasn't sure. Yeah, that's what I was trying to wonder. How much is people? How much is programs? Like that's what I was kind of curious to see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I have, so I'm ecstatic that there are programs here and that they're expanding and that we're covering more kids. As a former band kid myself, former chorale and choir, acting and all that stuff, the ROI on the arts is unfortunately oftentimes intangible, right? Because one, the ROI that we can see is increased enrollment, increased to students that want to be a part of our district because of increased opportunities, increased attendance because of kids, exactly like Dr. Isaiah said, that come to school because of those programs. Listen, you may hate math. I didn't. I loved math, but there are kids that do. Or you may hate science, or you may hate reading, but you may like music, right? And there may be a way, as an attorney now, the confidence that I gained from performing in band and in choir as an athlete and everything else has given me the ability to stand in front of jurors and to be on this board today. And there are kids that I know that did the same, that were shy, that were withdrawn in public and became confident by acting and by playing music and by drawing and by painting and doing those things. And so the more that we can expand the arts, the more that we can give opportunities that are outside of whatever our traditional metrics are, the better and more beautiful our community becomes. So I'm comfortable with the amount of money that we have to spend for that, because the intangible effect is a better community. And where that may not come down on a spreadsheet, it definitely comes down to people. And so I am glad it's happening. Whatever I can do to help support it, I'm going to keep attending performances and looking at whatever art we can. I'm happy it's here.
And just to clarify, right, obviously we all of us are for arts and music, right? We just want to make sure that 2.3, the way that we have to use that money, it's not like it's optional, right? We have to use that money. I just want to make sure that we're using it the best way possible, right? People, programs. I was just kind of curious about how we're allocating those funds. So it's that I'm just kind of curious to see what are we focusing on, staff, programs, or whatever it may be. So just to make clear, yeah.
Sounds good. Any other comments? No. Well, now we know why you're an attorney, because it's arts and music.
I use too many words.
Yeah.
We're taught to be concise, not use many words.
All right. That was a good discussion. And moving on to 8.7, initial proposal between Torrance Unified School District and Torrance Teacher Association for 25-26.
Good evening, President Dr. Mohammed, Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Stowe, staff and community. Before the board is item 8.7, which is the district sunshine proposal for this negotiation cycle for 25-26. Government Code Section 3547 requires us to present in an open session our proposal for negotiation. Our proposal includes salary schedule, which is Article 23, welfare and benefits, which is Article 24, and the mutually agreed article, which is our calendar. These three articles are our initial proposal. The next step in the process is in the October 13th, 2025 board meeting. There will be a hearing to be presented. At that point in time, we would recommend that the sunshine proposal that was proposed by TTA, which was proposed June 17th, and our proposal today be adopted by the board. Shortly thereafter, we will meet with TTA to schedule negotiation cycles. Any questions?
Any questions for my colleague? Okay, seeing none, thank you very much. And we will move on to item 9, oral communications. And I have 3 cards, but I'll read a quick little paragraph. The Board of Education welcomes input from the public. Speakers wishing to address the board on non-agenda topics have completed the appropriate submission form on the district website prior to 3 p.m. or in-person speaker cards prior to 7 p.m. These are the yellow ones. Time allotted for public comments on non-agenda items is limited to 3 minutes per comment and for a total of 30 minutes. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. The 3 that I have is, and I'll read it in order, then you guys can come up in that order. Olga Dashuta, Charles Deemer, and Deb DeBush.
Good evening. My name is Olga Dashuta, and I'm here as a parent to speak about my concerns regarding combination classes at Hickory Elementary School. My son is in 4th grade, and he was placed in a class with 20 third graders and only 7 4th graders. I was not informed about this in advance. I did not receive any information on how 2 different grade levels will be taught together simultaneously in the same classroom. And I could not get any explanation of the criteria used to choose students for this combination class. My son has consistently performed very well academically, so I do not understand the reason why he is held back. My main concern is academic challenge. With 20 third graders in this classroom and only 7 4th graders, my son, who is a 4th grader, will not be challenged enough academically, and I believe he will regress instead of progressing at his level as his other peers in appropriate 4th grade classrooms. My second concern is social development. My son was born on September 2nd, so he's already a year older than his classmates. And in this classroom, this creates almost a 2-year age gap, which is huge for this age group. And I believe that this will negatively impact his social experience. And finally, different bell schedules for 3rd and 4th grades create chaos and disruption in learning because one group is leaving or arriving to the classroom while the other group is still working on the assignment. Also, it limits my son's ability to interact with his 4th grade friends during recess and lunch. And finally, even during PE class, these 7 students, 4th graders, are the only 4th graders that are grouped together with the rest of the 3rd graders during PE class. So I believe that placement in a combination class puts my son at a great disadvantage, both academically and socially. I don't think it's fair if I compare his learning experience with his peers in appropriate 4th grade classrooms. I respectfully ask the board to reconsider how combination classes are structured and communicated to families. I believe that parents deserve transparency in this process and a voice in these decisions. I request that my son be transferred to the appropriate 4th grade class where he belongs as soon as possible so he does not lose valuable instructional time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Olga. Next, Charles.
Greetings, board and staff. For tonight's A&Q, first off, it's that time of year again for the high school students to apply to Metro's Youth Council. The address is www.metro.net/about/youth metro-youth-council/. From 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. this Saturday, a Metro Youth Summit will be held at the Union Station Ticket Concourse, and RSVP is needed. The concourse is on the Alameda side of the terminal. Unfortunately, Torrance Transit's Line 4X does not run early enough on Saturday to get there before the event starts. It does return from the front of Union Station on the Alameda Street. The easiest way to get downtown would be by bus, would be to board the J line bus, which is actually 9:10 or 9:30, used like the Silver Line buses, but they've been changing numbers and letters, at the Harbor Gateway Transit Center across from Home Depot on 182nd Street. At this event will be panels for those interested in serving on the Youth Council, which runs on a calendar basis along with other issues related to transit for youth, principally. Also, this Thursday at 11 a.m., there will be an update on where the city is at regarding the El Camino College Village annexation issue. At the last update in January, it's mentioned that the city's representatives had talked to TUSD, and apparently there was not an enthusiastic response from whom the city talked to, which was a big surprise to me because I thought that the TUSD board and whoever the city talked to would support adding 12 to 1,400 students in the North High area. Currently, North High attendance is way the campus itself, North High, is way below its past peak, and you'd likely gain 2 more elementary schools. So why would someone from TUSD not be in favor of this surprise addition to the district? And finally, what happened to Spectrum Channel 30? It's been years since board meetings have been broadcast on it. Now recently there's a notice that the channel is out of service. What plans does the district have for the channel? Admittedly, you never publish a broadcast schedule, which City Cable, the city, also doesn't do, but at least they're generally consistent on when it broadcasts particular programming on their channels. I have also a dozen copies of the first page to go to the board, to principals, whoever else. So who gets them? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Deb Tabush.
Deb Tabush, proud educator and union member. Good evening, President Mohammed, Dr. Stowe, school board members, cabinet, and North High student representative. I'm here to communicate a concern regarding a systematic failure with how and when certificate employees within TUSD get paid for extra services provided to the district, such as paid adjunct duties, summer professional development, and/or extra work being performed at sites during the year and over the summer. This issue is not new, yet the problem still continues. If your employees' livelihoods are being adversely affected, something needs to be done. After years of the paycheck unknown abyss, TTA has been working collaboratively with TUSD on some ways to resolve this issue, but I think it goes well beyond a set of dates. Where are the checks and balances with any of the protocols currently in place to make sure educators are paid in a timely manner? Just like you, we work hard, get paid, and then budget and plan for our households. When we are expecting compensation only to find out it isn't there, something needs to give. A lot of K2 employees, just like me, worked hard to complete 2 full days of ELA professional development this summer on June 17th and 18th. To my dismay, a lot of people at different sites throughout the district weren't paid until this last Friday. This is not right or acceptable. The checks delivered to our school sites were dated July 9th. Where have our checks been? Again, where are the checks and balances? Where is the transparent communication about what happened? Does this mean that those affected won't be upset? No, but at least we will know that we are valued enough and respected to be given an explanation of why it happened and how TUSD has systems in place to ensure these mishaps are few and far between. Unfortunately, this situation has personally happened to me twice this year. Accountability is hard, but if systems are insufficient and you are aware of them, there needs to be positive and transparent changes to make them better. I would be remiss if I didn't offer some solutions. We need a comprehensive system of checks and balances to ensure the procedures and protocols are being reviewed, processes are being followed, and payments are being delivered in a timely manner. A start would be to provide a clearly communicated list of personnel to help educators address any issues or concern regarding their pay. And please, not a NeoGov form or task to complete. No one should have to guess when or what they are getting paid for. I urge the TUSD administration to get a comprehensive system in place where all employees can feel confident. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your comments. I just want to check if there's any comments online. No? Okay. Moving on to item 10, discussion on our action items listed. Following that, I don't have any speaker cards. Do we have anybody online for items 10? Nobody. Okay. So I'll just move on to 10.1, approve the unaudited actual financial statements for fiscal year 24-25 and approve revisions to the 25-26 ending fund balance.
Hi, everyone. Waiting on the screen transfer here, trying something new this time. So while that's going up, I wanted to congratulate the district on a great year, both academically and fiscally. Today's presentation will be covering the unaudited actuals and how we finished for the 24-25 fiscal year. Oh, is it? Need the technical assistance here. This is the final of the 4 major reporting periods, including adopted budget and the first and second interim reports. Oh.
You need an update or something.
All right. I'll transfer this over to the other PC here. Give me one sec here. Oh. Oh, I know. All right, here. I'll transfer this. Thanks for your patience. The presentation will be covering the unrestricted general fund, where most of our business is conducted. What you'll see here is oh, perfect. Right slide and everything. Okay. So you have 2 columns here. You have the estimated column, which is from our adopted budget, using data from about April 30th, when we estimated how we would finish out the year, and the unaudited actuals column for how we actually finished the year. As you can see, the difference was a little over 5 million in the positive to what we estimated our ending fund balance. So the 3 main drivers in that difference are shown here, and the top 2 you see are strictly accounting differences, which do not equate to more money in our bank. The first one there is the GASB 31 adjustment, which is an entry which is required by our auditors. This is a newer regulation that records the potential risks for our cash held with the county treasurer because they invest portions of these cash balances. So this is every district has this type of adjustment. This was a favorable adjustment in the current year as a fair market value for that investment there. The risk factor decreased a little in 24-25. So the other large difference is in our committed reserve balances, which was also favorable solely due to the district not expensing as much as we estimated we would by June 30th. We still are planning to spend these funds for their intended purposes. Now getting into our components of our ending fund balance. We start with these non-spendable components, which also finished pretty close to what we estimated for the year. And here on this slide, the largest difference you see is for our targeted students committed funds or the supplemental funds under our LCFF. The end of the year had an increase in the unduplicated student count, which also increased the revenues in these funds. Dr. Isaiah and our Ed Services team have plans to spend these funds for those students that need that support. Those other 2 negative balances that you see at the bottom are showing that we are using those committed fund balances for their intended purposes. So they are being spent as they need to be. The positive difference here in the TK facilities committed funds was due to the timing of progress payments on the construction for the new classrooms over at Torrance L and Carr Elementary. And the energy efficiency upgrades you see there are related to the solar shade structures over at West and South High. And again, we made further progress before June 30th towards completion of those projects. And for our reserve for economic uncertainty, overall, we're pretty close to what we estimated we would finish at, with another small net positive there for that overall reserve availability. And so what's next? Board's consideration to approve the 24-25 unaudited actuals. And then we have first interim coming up already in December. So to give another update.
Great.
Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much. I just have one question for the team. Anyone can answer. In light of the budget, where are we expecting the state and the Fed with regards to funding? I know a little bit over the summer there were some concerns about the federal government kind of holding back on some Title I funds, and how is that going to be impacting our district as we go forward? Or do we see any kind of risks with state or federal funding?
I can
as we go forward?
pass.
Okay,
Especially
fair
in light of the
enough. I don't know
economy
if you
right
want to take it or not.
Yeah.
So most of the funds that were being held up have been distributed. So at least in that current federal budget year, we basically got the money that we were expecting to, but all of it is threatened in the new year. So this is part of the new federal budget that's being put together now, and the current presidential administration is not behind continuing the same level of funding in education. For us, that's not a huge piece of money as it is for a lot of districts, but every dollar matters. And so we're continuing to do our lobbying efforts to see if we can get some of that funding put into the federal budget for the next year. And there are plenty of Congress people and senators who also agree with that position. It'll come down to the final vote.
And I'm assuming we're preparing internally to make sure that, whatever the dollars are that, may or may not come, that we're able to make those adjustments.
Correct. So it would have been harder on an in-year adjustment, but now that we understand that there are threats on the horizon that might be part of the next federal budget, we're being careful with our budgeting for that.
And last question, how's the state? Because a lot of our funding does come from the state. How are we looking at or projecting their economics?
Yeah, currently the state COLA is looking to be fully funded. So this was the budget deal that was just done. We're fully funding the state COLA. Any headwinds on the horizon are ones that we've been hearing about literally for several years that have yet to come to fruition. This is me knocking bamboo that counts as wood on the back of my phone. But for our district, we're in a strong position because of the reserves we have. If there is a downturn in the economy, we do have time to adjust. So I feel that we're in a comfortable position to be able to handle a headwind if it were to come. And truly, we have been expecting it year after year after year, and it has not come yet.
So a couple of things. Number one is obviously we spent $500,000 less, right, on the mental health, right? Just wondering.
Oh, no, we spent $500,000 on that mental health
top of that,
funding to bring down the balance.
That's why it's negative. I don't know why it's negative, right? We spend more. That's what it is.
Yeah, so we estimated an actual spend down of about $500,000. By the end of the year, we ended up spending a full $1 million.
Okay.
So that's a delta towards spending the funds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that if there's any cuts, I wanted to know what the cuts were for.
Oh yeah. No, we've
Okay.
continued and expanded support there.
And the second question I have is on the reserves. So obviously 10% is the max, right? That's what I'm understanding. Reserve for economic uncertainty, 10% is max.
So under certain conditions for the economy, and we are not currently in one of those conditions, there is in law that you can have a maximum of 10% sitting in uncommitted reserves. Again, not in operation at the moment, but that is why we look at what are reserves that we know we're going to spend on particular items. That's why we put them into committed reserves. And then, yes, we're right around the 9.3 at the moment that if the 10% cap was in action, we would be close,
Okay.
but it's not this year.
What causes that 10%?
It depends. We're going to get really arcane really fast here. It depends if you're in under LCFF, the local control funding formula. Are you in a test 1, test 2, or test 3 year, which has to do with the different economic factors the state government uses in order to give apportionments to the district.
I see.
That's all I'm going to say on it right now, but I'm happy to give you plenty of articles to go deeper into that.
Okay.
But bottom line is we're not in the test year that would trigger the 10% cap.
So if you're not in the test year, can you go over that 10% cap?
Yes.
You can. Okay, that's what I'm just asking. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. 10.1 is adopted. 10.2, selection of Board of Education candidate for reappointment to the Personnel Commission Board. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. 10.2 is adopted. Congratulations to Commissioner Terry Reagan serving on the Personnel.
Yes.
10.3, approval of proposed updates to board policies and board bylaws, June and August 25 revisions, first reading. I'll entertain a motion if anyone wants to waive second reading. Right?
I actually have, let me bring it up. I'd like for us to take a second look at this this set of board policies, because I'm kind of concerned about, I forgot what section it was under. I think it was under the BP 0410, where there's non-discrimination district program and activities. I understand that we are following the recommendations of the California School Board Association in terms of updating our board policies, but I would like to not just say that we are excluding derogatory Native American terms, but I'd like to include that we do not include all ethnic derogatory or terms within our school activities, or school mascot or symbol, or our athletic programs. So if we can make an amendment to that, that would be really great, just so we don't point out one specific ethnic group, but rather that we are in support of not that we're, we would be against any kind of derogatory ethnic terms used in our school.
I think it might hit that right above the Native American piece on page 151, where it says district programs and activities shall be free of any racially derogatory or discriminating school or athletic team names, mascot, or nickname. And then the CSBA in their sample board policy that we took this from is following the direction from CDE of being very clear on which Native American items are considered derogatory. But I believe the chunk right up above answers your
Yes.
question, but I might be wrong.
It does says for racially derogatory and discriminated.
Anything.
Or anything. If you can add ethnic also, not just racially. But my question is, like, why do we only point out specifically the Native American terms? Just because we might have accidentally used it in the past doesn't mean that we should just point that out. Does that make sense to me? Like, why we like focusing on one ethnic group and not the other ethnic groups?
I think because when you see mascots, they're usually that one ethnic group. That's my understanding. That's what it seems like. I think they're highlighting, because when you look, I think what Dr. Butler was saying is correct. District programs activities shall be free of any racially derogatory, discriminating school or athletic team names, mascots, or nicknames. Right? Specifically naming certain things within this district itself. And I think because we have incidences where we have mascots that are technically Indians or whatever, warriors or whatever it may be, that's what they're trying to prohibit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that specifically for sports and athletic programs, there's a section towards the end of this document that specifically talks about not having derogatory terms, especially of Native American nature, in athletic programs and mascots. But in this earlier section, it talked about all the district programs and activities. And I just don't feel comfortable having it just point out one specific ethnicity and not the rest of them. I believe that, we would be equally be against all derogatory ethnic and racial terms.
So can I ask, is the proposal to change that language to just then say free of any ethnically or racially derogatory? Would that language satisfy what you're?
Yes, but then, maybe we might want to include some other terms. We can talk to CSBA and see if they ask them why they are specifically pointing out only the Native American terms.
Would it help if we exclude the Native American term? If the first sentence captures everything, then why do we need to spell it out as an example?
I think that I agree and understand what Trustee Han is saying too. Historically, this country and the states, sports teams, athletic teams, schools, institutions have used Native American insignia not exclusively of other ethnicities, but a lot more often than other ethnicities. So I think that's probably why it's included.
So
But I think if you expand it and say anything that's ethnically or racially derogatory, it would encompass everything.
So if it was meant for athletic teams, which you're probably right on that, why can't we just say, for example, these names shall not be included, just so that it's an example, it's not limiting to just those. It could be more.
Well, this is specifically
including it,
the
but not limited
2024
to.
law around team mascots.
Yes.
In the state of California.
Yeah, that's a bottom
that's the update.
section of this. Like we have this top section talks about the district programs and activities. And then much later on in the document, the other section under athletics, we also have that same, anti-derogatory terms. So if we only talk about sports, that's already covered underneath here. But my concern right now is all
But there's
district programs and activities right here on the very top part.
But there's a paragraph on the top part that says district programs, activities, and practice shall be free from unlawful discrimination, including discrimination against any individual group based upon combination of two or more protected characteristics, which include but may not be limited to race or ethnicity, and ancestry, color, ethnic group identification, nationality, national. It does express that in the paragraph above.
Right.
at the very
It's
beginning.
very, exactly. It says that in the very beginning and it's a very general and it covers everything else. My whole issue here is why are we pointing out one specific ethnicity and not the other ones? I mean, just because that, we've had it in the past in our school district that we have used certain terms that were, that might be viewed as derogatory, doesn't mean that we might not use other terms later on
Well,
that would be
just to
derogatory
clarify,
too.
we don't have any of the Native American mascot names that were listed in.
Yes, we do not have that anymore,
Right.
for sure.
Well, we never have.
There was some reference to something in the past.
When I went to Birtland in 1984, we were the Birtland Indians, but that's since
Yeah,
changed.
that's in the past.
But I mean, those Native American mascots don't apply to any of our schools.
Yes, that's
Just wanted
absolutely
to
true.
clarify
That, yes. Thank you for making that clear that we do not, we don't use any of these derogatory team names or mascots or nicknames or anything like that nowadays. But for now and for future, I want to point out other ethnic. I want it to be fair to all ethnicity. It's not just like one ethnicity that we want to point out.
But I think the reason why this is in
That we
here-
feel so strongly about one of them and not the other ones.
But the reason why I think this is in here because it's a matter of debate in public society. For example, in football and baseball right now, we have the Braves, we still have the Seminoles, we still use derogatory names for football teams, right? And so you have that in NFL, you have that in baseball and Major League Baseball. I think CSB wanted to make it clear in our schools, we're not going to allow that. I think that's why they're highlighting the Native American mascots, because you have in professional sports today, Native American mascots, right? Unfortunately, we do, right? And so I think they wanted to be clear that we're going to make a clear stance here in California for schools that we're not going to allow that, right? You may do that in professional world, but we're not going to allow that in school. I think that's why they're highlighting this, because there are schools that do have these mascots in that way.
I don't know. I'm just not comfortable with pointing out one specific ethnicity. It just doesn't seem right or fair to the other ethnicity, despite the background of what's happening out there in the world.
I completely agree with that, and that there's opportunity for things to happen. I don't believe it's going to happen here, but I understand the
Yeah, I don't believe it.
And so what I would propose, just based upon the language, is what do you think about where it says derogatory Native American terms, including, and then it lists off several. If we change the language to saying derogatory terms relating to any ethnicity or race, comma, including but not limited to, and then having that list that's there within as proposed by CSBA, would that encompass what you're concerned about?
No, but then you're still listing the specific Native American terms.
I think
right?
because of the
I like the beginning part of your proposal of saying that, derogatory terms, relating to ethnic or racially discriminatory terms. But I don't like that we just list out those specific terms because, and honestly, with Native American terms, there are even more than just these ones that are listed out there. I mean, it should at least be including, but not limited to, for example, Apaches and Big Reds and Braves and Chiefs and Chieftains. It just doesn't seem right to me that one, there's more than these terms in Native American terms, and two, that mainly that there are plenty of other derogatory terms based on ethnicity. So I actually would feel more comfortable if we like don't include that part in and not point out specific ethnicity as to be inferred as the more important than other ethnically derogatory terms.
Dr. Mohammed, if I may, just one recommendation just for the consideration of time. If you want to approve everything else except for this one policy, and maybe have a board subcommittee of 2 members kind of work on some language, and then we bring it back at a future meeting.
I don't have a problem with that, and I'll defer my colleagues see what they think about that. Just a question is that if we strike the red, how does that change our policy in any way? Would it still be in compliance?
I believe we are still in compliance.
Why don't we strike the red and see if there's a consensus to approve it? Because the sentence above, district programs and activities and athletic teams are part of those activities.
So I disagree, actually. I don't think we should strike it. I think because there's that sense of unclarity in society, that this is why they want it in there, right? Because of the fact that they're highlighting something that, again, some of these things like the Kansas City Chiefs, right? That's like probably the most famous NFL team. So if you're going to allow it in public society, they're going to say, well, why can't we have it in our schools? If we don't have this clear, they're not going to say that's derogatory. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to argue that that's racially derogatory or discriminatory when the NFL allows it, when the Major League Baseball allows it, right? So I think this is why I think we need to allow. I think we can't cancel this out. I think this brings clarity to the school districts where our position is we consider this to be racially derogatory and discriminatory, right? Even though you may have the Major League Baseball, even though you have the NFL, we're saying this is going to be what we want to stand on this. I think that's what they're trying to do. So, because if you don't do this, then they can't name the chief. They can't say the Indians because their argument is going to be that's not racially derogatory or discriminatory. How can you say that when you have professional teams that have the name? Then we lose. Then every school can have, you know what? We want to be called the Indians. We want to be called the words. And who will we say that's racially derogatory? Who will we say that's discriminatory?
We will be saying that that is racially derogatory, that it's not going to be based on what NFL decides.
No, but
whether or not they're racially derogatory. I'm not going to follow their standard.
Are you saying NFL is discriminatory then? Are you going to say they're racially offensive?
So
I'm not saying anything about NFL. I'm just saying that I'm not following the standard of NFL.
What I'm saying though, but society sees it that way.
Let me see. Let me see if we can do this. Do we have administrative regulations or that follow board policies?
I'll look up that one right now.
The reason why I'm asking is maybe this might be an approach is we can still, because I hear your point. I think there has to be a certain set of examples, and maybe we can extract that, put that in our administrative regulations as examples of what we have. But our board policy could be encapsulating everything, and a wider net. So our board policies could be district programs activities shall be free of any racial, ethnic, derogatory, discriminatory, school athletic, team names, mascot, nicknames. That's our board policy. And then our administrative regulations, which is something internally that we manage, could have examples of what we're not going to have. And that's where the information and examples could come in from.
And we don't currently have an administrative regulation for that, but we can write one.
Right. And that way we can, if that works for everybody, then we can approve the policy.
I think that also makes sense because the board policy is usually very much more general, and if you're going to be so specific as to each term and each ethnicity that there is, it makes sense to have it into the administration regulation. So I like that. I like that proposal.
Want to make a motion?
Yeah, I like to move that we move the highlighted language in regards to the derogatory Native American terms section to be moved to what's called administrative regulation of our school district instead of having it in the board policy.
Did you want to add that ethnic?
Yes, and please include not just racially derogatory, but add in ethnically derogatory too. It's not just race that we're talking about.
Just for the record, can you specify the, so I have it correct, which board policy specifically number we're looking at?
Yes, this is actually page 2 of the document under non-discrimination in district programs and activities.
0410A.
Okay.
0410A.
So just
Sorry,
that paragraph.
Sorry, 0410B.
So that paragraph is what we're talking.
Yes.
Yes, the one that's highlighted in red.
Correct.
And then you had proposed language that you wanted to change the paragraph to as well.
The sentence, the paragraph above it, to just add instead of to have it say district programs and activities shall be free of any racially and ethnically derogatory or discriminatory school or athletic team names, mascots, and nicknames.
And then just kind of a point of clarity for the administrative regulation, we be approving that paragraph later, or is that something that's done?
No, I approve those and put those on for information. The board does not approve ARs.
But we're giving direction, right?
Right. So the direction I would say is in terms of that sentence, you'd say derogatory ethnic or racial terms, including derogatory Native American terms, such as shall not be used or something like that.
Yep.
So think about how you can broaden that language to include other ethnicities.
Sounds
And
good.
I would also pay particular attention to whether or not there have been historical incidents where different ethnicities have been used and how they may be incorporated. So I'm not sure how broad of a study that would be, because historically in this country, it has been Native American that have been derogatory generally. But I'd be curious to see what other ones are there and make sure that we exclude those as well.
I think, like for example, Eskimo is considered derogatory now, and that's not included in here also. There's so many terms out there. So I rather have a much more general description of these than specific individual terms right here. So yes, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second as amended.
We have a motion and a second as amended with a certain portion being captured in administrative regulations. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, 10.3 adopted. Did we waive second reading on that too? I just want to be clear.
You stated it at the beginning. I don't know that it
Waiving
was
second.
part of the motion, but you did say that.
Okay, motion to waive second reading.
Second.
A motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. We also waive second reading on that. Okay, moving on to consent item. Move from 12.1 all the way down to, let me see what we have, 17.21. Anyone wish to remove any items? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve all consent items.
Okay, motion and any second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Consent items have been approved. Moving down to 18.1 is our board calendar. 18.2, just revisions to, oh, look at that, administrative regulations. We'll have some stuff there, I guess, next time. 19, so we'll capture some stuff there. 19, comments from members of the Board of Education. 19.1, Laxta, Trustee Liu.
For Laxta, they have an event coming up next week. It is going to be a social mixer to start off the new school year. It will be held actually close by this time in LA County. It'll be in El Segundo at the 5.5 establishment in El Segundo, starting at 6 p.m. next Monday. So I welcome everybody to come join us, or if you want to meet other school board members or our own school board members, please feel free to come at 6 o'clock next Monday in El Segundo, 5.5.
Thank you so much, Trustee Liu. Item 19.2, SoCal Rock. Trustee Hahn. Nothing to report. Okay. 19.3, other comments from the board. I'll go from my right. Trustee Zuckerman.
Yeah, it was great attending Walteria's 100th celebration. Congratulations to them for a very nice program and what they did. I learned of something that's happening that's pretty cool up near Carr Elementary. There's a person named Kyle Richardson who reached out via email, and he realized that it was a little difficult for some kids to get to school by bike. So we started organizing a bike bus. And so they have a route that they're doing where kids can jump in and they all ride together and they go safely. And Mr. Richardson has done a great job of involving Torrance Police Department. So I know they're doing a bike bus on September 12th. I didn't tell Mr. Richardson I was going to talk about it tonight. So I hope he's flooded with people. But it is a fantastic idea to incorporate some fitness and a sense of community and a sense of pride. Carr's a great little school. They're doing a great job, as all of our schools are. But it's a really cool idea that I'd love to see expanded across the city, where kids are getting together in the morning and riding together and building friendships and doing something cool. So congrats to Mr. Richardson for the work that you're doing and the work that TPD is doing with you. I wish you all the success on the 12th. I won't be able to be there, unfortunately, but go have a great time, and thanks for doing the good work. And with that, I hope everybody has a great week, and be kind to each other.
Thank you so much. Trustee Lou?
Yeah, I want to thank Nika for your wonderful school board report today. That was wonderful. I also want to recognize Tanner Donald of West High School. He is one of our other student school board members who was actually here in attendance earlier. He left not too long ago, but thank you for coming and to your very first school board meeting, and thank you for being here in support of your student school board colleague, Nika. So, and then instead of silently adopting our resolutions at every meeting, I sometimes like to give some special recognition to what we're proclaiming at meetings. I've done that in the past, and at this meeting, we have quite a few important ones that I really want to point out. One is that September 15th to the October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. Just want to point out also that the diversity of this group includes persons who have their origins in Mexico, Central and South America, Portugal, Spain, and Spanish-speaking Caribbean islands. So just want to point that out, that we care very much about the Hispanic heritage, and we're very proud to be able to proclaim this month. Real quickly, I think our TCPTA board member came earlier to talk about the membership and what's going on with PTAs at our individual schools, but also about membership. I was a PTA vice president of membership, so I have to bring it out and want to say, in support of her. I know it's kind of difficult sometimes to get membership out there, but I just want to thank all who are watching and all other people, all members who enrolled in PTA membership. It is the main funding source for all the PTA activities that you guys do at schools. October 1st, coming up, and ours announces, is the California Clean Air Day. It happens on the first Wednesday of every October. I've been an environmental commissioner for the city of Torrance for over 11 years, and being an environmentalist, I was also on the board of Coalition for Clean Air. Coalition Clean Air is the only statewide environmental nonprofit that is devoted to clean air, and it is because of Coalition for Clean Air that the first Wednesday of every October is now recognized as the California Clean Air Day. So reminder of everybody, please take care of the environment. Do not idle in your cars outside of school while waiting for your students to get picked up, hopefully, because that really really hurts, pollutes the air around our schools. Second to last is the World Mental Health Day is October 10th. It's annual, and it serves as a beacon of guiding global awareness and understanding of mental health. And the last resolution that we proclaimed at this meeting is the Week of School Administrators. Thank you all for all that you do for our students, families, teachers, staff, and community. Thank you, school administrators, for all that you do. And lastly, I want to point out that there are a lot of contracts under consent agenda for different after-school programs such as arts or skateboarding or even coding. And this shows that we are very devoted to ELOPE, our expanded learning opportunities program, that we is definitely one of our district priority. So enroll in those programs if you can. And then finally, oh my gosh, my mouth is dry. Is the last section that I always do at every meeting, which that we do. It is the special acknowledgement of our classified employees who have their special anniversaries, and I do it in 5-year increments. For our 10-year of accredited service, we have, I need my glasses, actually. Let me fix that. For 10 years of accredited service, we have Jadine Garcia from Adult Education, Cherry Lefebvre from Griffith Adult Center. I'm sorry. Jadine Garcia from Griffith Adult Center, Cherry Lefebvre from Special Education Department, Juan Morales from Education Technology, Nicholas Pina from North High School, Miriam Romero from Victor Elementary School, Maria Sanchez Agustin from Maintenance. And then for our 15 years of special anniversary, we have Glenda Simpson from Hull Middle School. 20 years of accredited service, we have Rhonda Ishida from Magruder Middle School, Maggie Capolian from Edison Elementary School, Elizabeth McQueen from North High School, Mandy Nicholson from Special Education Department, Marina Ojeda from Hickory Elementary School, Veronica Hille from Calle Mayor Middle School. And I think we do not have a 25th year anniversary. So that's it for the list for this month. Thank you very much for your loyalty, for your public service to our school district. And congratulations.
Thank you so much, Trustee Lou and Trustee Hawk.
Just a couple of things. Say welcome to Mike Hyde again. Looking for good food for our kids. Much better. So it should be a good thing. So we're glad that you're here. Also, I want to say welcome to Christy Forche. Thank you for filling in. I know, yeah, that's why. So for filling in, we appreciate it. I know that a lot of things going on. So thank you for being here as well. And then also, it was great. The Walter Centennial. It was a hot day. Great job. I want to say all the Walter staff did a great job. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people showed up. It was a great event itself. And last but not least, thank you for everyone. I know the past couple of weeks have been very hot, and I know that it's been hard, but we're grateful for everyone, for all our mitigation plans, for everyone, the staff that's done a great job doing all that they can with what we have to kind of help mitigate that. So thank you for being patient. Thank you for dealing with it. And I think this next week's gonna be a little cooler, so it should be a lot better. So thank you. Hang in there. We're doing all the best that we can, but thank you for all the staff who did everything they can to help resolve, mitigate, and to kind of help out with anything that we could have done to help deal with the heat itself. So thank you for everyone.
All right. Thank you to all my colleagues. Just want to say welcome back to everyone. Back to school. We're in gear and full speed ahead. So just want to thank everyone for starting back up and wish everyone a great year. So with that, I'll entertain motion to adjourn in memory of retired teacher Judith Rice, retired teacher Mary Desteiner, and retired teacher Shirley Colum.
So moved.
Motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Good night.